Hi, we're here at National Reso-Phonic Guitars in San Luis Obispo, California, and today I'm going to be showing you how to change the strings on a slotted headstock National Reso-Phonic guitar. Some people are kind of intimidated about changing the strings on a resonator guitar, or they're just hesitant to because the cone does move around in the well when it's not under tension, and it can turn, it can move anywhere. So a good way to just take that completely out of the equation is to keep some tension on at least some of the strings while you change it, and the easiest way to do that is to change the three bass strings and then the three treble strings. And once you get the bass strings changed, tune those up to pitch, or most of the way at least, and then you can take the tension off the treble side, and you'll always have some tension pressing the cone down and keeping it where it was originally set. So when putting the strings on, we always go from the outside in, and then when taking them off, do exactly the opposite, just because it's easier to get to the strings in that order. So now, like I said, we'll go from the outside in. So we have our sixth string here. And another problem a lot of people come across is just exactly how to change the strings, get the proper length in a slotted headstock. So I have a method I use that gets them where I want them and makes it a pretty clean operation. And it is a little awkward at first, but once you do it a few times and get the hang of it, it's, you know, there's just kind of a formula to it. So what I'll do for our standard slotted headstock guitars, I'll anchor the string at the tailpiece, of course, and then put it into the tuner post, and then I know just from experience that if I kind of pick like three fingers, 2.5 fingers or so, that's about how much string length I'll need. So then I'll anchor it there, put like a half turn on the tuner post so that it crimps it, and then I'll take the excess bit of string from underneath and pull it back towards me, and then just undo that half turn I did, so that when you take it out, it makes a little zigzag, and that will anchor the string in. And then I like to clip the excess string off pretty close so that you don't have pointy bits sticking out one way or the other. And so I'll just reinsert it into the hole on the tuner post, and then as I'm wrapping it up on the post, I'll guide it so that the first wrap goes to the outside of the part I just clipped off, and then all subsequent wraps go to the inside. And you don't have room to get a lot of wraps in there because the space from the edge of the headstock here to the tuner post hole is pretty narrow, so that's about all you can get there. For the next string, for all inner four strings, you can be a bit more liberal with how much space you leave, how many wraps you get on the post, and generally the more wraps, the better, just because it anchors the string a little bit better. So I'll start out the same, but notice that instead of having my fingers down like this, I leave more string, so it's about like that. And I'll use the same method to crimp it and put that little zigzag in it. And now, when I wrap it, I'll do just the opposite of what I did to wrap the 6th string. I'll go first wrap inwards and all subsequent wraps outwards. And I just guide the string so that it wraps up nicely. It doesn't double back on itself, but also you don't want to push it all the way out to the inner wall of the headstock there. And exact same operation on that next string. And you could tune these up to pitch at this point. If you have some tension on them, the cone won't move around, so that's all that matters at this point. So now that we have these installed, I'll detune the treble side strings and take them off and replace them. So now we'll do exactly the same operation we did with the bass strings, starting with the outermost string. But now, this being the thinnest string, having many wraps together will take up a lot less space than on the 6th string. So I'll go ahead and use about the same amount of string length that I do for all the inner ones on this 1st string. So just like the outermost bass string, the outermost treble string will have the first wrap to the outside, and then the rest will be to the inside. Again, I'm guiding the string to make sure that no wraps double over each other, but also so that it doesn't mash up against the inner edge of the headstock here. So just like the inner 2 bass strings, the inner 2 treble strings will have the first wrap to the inside and the rest to the outside. So now we have some amount of pitch on the strings. It needs to be tuned up to pitch, but we kept enough tension on the strings that the cone didn't shake around, so we don't have to reposition it. So that's how you change strings on a slotted head National headstock.